Let us stop and think, my people. In the sun-baked village of Garanbala, nestled between golden savannas and whispering baobab trees, lived a bright young girl named Amina. Her father, Malam Salisu, was a respected farmer known for his integrity, and her mother, Hawa, was a weaver of beautiful mats and a woman of prayer. Amina was their only daughter among 5 sons, and from the moment she could walk, everyone in the village agreed she was destined for greatness. She was quick-witted, curious, and could memorize entire chapters from schoolbooks after just one reading. Her teacher, Miss Grace, often told visitors, "If Amina remains focused, she will go further than any child in this village ever has." At just 12, she had topped her class 3 years in a row and won a regional scholarship for girls in science. Her parents were proud. "Our daughter will become a doctor," Malam Salisu would boast in the marketplace, and show these villagers that a girl's mind is as valuable as a boy's strength. But things changed the year Amina turned 14. It started subtly, first with small delays in her assignments, then with missed classes. Amina's friend, Hassana, introduced her to Tykro, a boy who lived in the neighboring village. Tykro was older, dressed in city clothes, and had a phone with internet access. He called her Queen, and said her smile could make rain fall in dry season. At first it was harmless, just passing greetings and occasional laughter. But soon, Amina began sneaking out after school to meet Tykro at the abandoned mango grove. He played music for her, showed her videos of girls in shiny clothes dancing, and promised her a life free from boring books and village rules. He told her she was too beautiful to waste her time in school. He even suggested she could become a famous influencer if she moved with him to the city. Amina, once proud of her schoolbooks, began to find them dull. Her notebooks gathered dust, and her test scores began to fall. Hawa wept when she saw her daughter's name missing from the honor list. Malam Salisu grew stern, forbidding Amina from leaving home after school, but by then she had tasted the sweetness of attention, and it had poisoned her resolve. One night, after a fierce argument with her father, Amina packed a small bag and left with Tykro. She left a note behind, "I'm going to chase my dream. School isn't for everyone." The village mourned. Malam Salisu aged overnight, and Hawa stopped weaving. Amina's brothers searched for her in neighboring towns but found nothing. Meanwhile in the city, Amina was dazzled by bright lights and endless entertainment. Tykro took her to clubs, introduced her to people who promised modeling gigs and content creation fame. For a few months it felt like a dream. She wore borrowed clothes, posted filtered pictures, and gained followers. But reality is a patient hunter. It always catches up. Tykro began to change. He became controlling and would get angry when Amina refused to go out with his clients. He stopped buying her food and told her she had to earn her keep. At first she danced at small parties. Then she was pressured into things that made her cry at night. One day she returned from a job and found her things thrown outside. Tykro was gone. He had found a new star, a younger girl he said was more marketable. Alone, ashamed, and penniless, Amina wandered the city streets, begging for food, hiding from the eyes of men, and thinking of her family. 2 years had passed. One rainy morning, a barefoot figure arrived at the edge of Garanbala, drenched and gaunt. The villagers stared in silence as Amina approached. Her once radiant skin was pale, her clothes tattered, and her eyes hollow. A few women gasped. Children whispered. Some elders turned away in disapproval. She went straight to her family compound, but the door did not open. Her mother peeked from behind a curtain, tears pouring down her face. "You shamed us," she whispered. "I know," Amina sobbed. "But I've come home." Her father stood behind the doorway. "We warned you," he said quietly. "But the world had to teach you what we could not." They let her in but made no celebration. Her bed had long been given to a cousin. She slept on a mat near the kitchen. Her brothers avoided her, and her peers had all advanced in school or learned trades. Amina, now 16, had nothing to show but regret and scars. Weeks turned into months. Amina kept to herself, waking early to fetch water, helping her mother silently. One afternoon Miss Grace came to visit. "You were my brightest star," she said, tears in her eyes. "I feared you were gone forever." "I lost myself," Amina whispered. "But if there's any way back." Miss Grace paused. "There is always a way back for those who humble themselves." With her help, Amina enrolled in adult learning classes. She worked during the day in the market and studied by lantern at night. The other girls laughed behind her back, but she kept going. Slowly she began to regain her confidence. 3 years later she passed her secondary exams. She didn't top the class, but she walked proudly to collect her certificate, her parents watching with quiet pride. That evening, as the village gathered to celebrate the graduation of several youths, Miss Grace stood and said, "Let Amina be both a warning and a hope." She fell, yes, but she rose again. But not all who fall rise. Let our daughters know that education is a crown, one no one can steal. And let our sons learn that charm without responsibility leads to ruin. The villagers nodded. Amina bowed her head. Epilogue: The New Beginning. Amina never forgot her fall. She used her story to mentor younger girls, warning them about the glittering traps of city life and the value of a focused mind. Eventually, she became a teacher in her village and later, a radio presenter, sharing educational content for rural youth. She never blamed anyone but herself. But she made her life a lesson, one written not in shame but in redemption. Thank you for watching. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, comment and share this video.